get that kind of notification right now or in the next few seconds regarding permission to record. So, anyhow, with that being said, let's get to it. There's plenty to do with Blackboard. And again, if you have questions, either just chime in or type into the chat, and I'll try to keep checking that. I've got a lot of little items going on here. Okay, so Blackboard Tour. We're going to start with that. I think the bulk of what needs to be discussed today is going to be how do you navigate through Blackboard. So if you've never used Blackboard or never used an LMS, learning management system, this is obviously going to be maybe somewhat intimidating to you. But again, I'll do what I can to ensure that that you kind of know what's going on with navigation. It's fairly straightforward. As you already know, you've been getting announcements through your emails. Now, those announcements are also archived at the first spot you arrive to when you get into your Blackboard shell. I'm going to enter the student preview so we can view it how you view it. My vantage point slightly different, but this is generally what you should be seeing when you log into to your Blackboard course. So anyhow, the first thing you'll see are the announcements, and underneath the announcements, again, they're all archived. So that Zoom link is right there to access the Zoom room. I will post the slides every week. I try and get them out 3 or 4 days before, so probably by Friday or Saturday. If not sooner, the next week's slides will be out, and I'll post an announcement when that occurs. Let's see. So anyhow, that's where the announcements will be. And again, you have them archived in your emails as well. Now, the syllabus, if you haven't had a chance to view the syllabus, I want to go through that with you as well. There are 3 different avenues for viewing and accessing the syllabus. There's a PDF version there, so you click on the PDF version. It'll pop it open into another window. Okay, and again, on a phone or a tablet, sometimes some students don't have Microsoft Office, so sometimes viewing a PDF is a little bit easier. But so anyway, that's that version. And you can download a Word document, so you can have a Word doc form if you want it. You can also view it just within Blackboard itself, so you can. And again, anything highlighted, as you guys know, you're all internet savvy. Anything highlighted like this is going to be some sort of a hyperlink. So again, plenty of ways to get to the Zoom room each session. So so anyhow, we meet on Tuesdays as well. You guys don't have to. You have the option. I think most of you are registered for this particular section. But again, if you can't make it, or if you're more of a night person, or if your work schedule changes, I cover the same thing at 6 o'clock on Tuesday nights as well. So so anyway, feel free to come to either session. So anyhow, let's go through a couple of items real quickly here. Again, Tuesdays, 11:40 to 2:40. I don't know if we'll go that long. And again, it's Zoom. You're at home, or work, or wherever you are. Hopefully you're not driving. But feel free to use the restroom, get up, do whatever you want, just like you could do if we were in class together. So let's see. Today, and we go until December 10th. That's when everything closes up. That is a Thursday. So basically, everything is due by 11:59 p.m. On that Thursday, December 10th. You have my email address there. You've also received through those announcements a way to contact me or to reply to emails that way. Office hours, if you need help starting next week, I'll be, well, this week, Thursday, I'll be in there at the Zoom room at 10:30. So anyhow, generally Tuesdays and Thursdays, 10:30 to 11:30, and then Wednesdays from 10 to noon and from 5 to 6. So if you need to stop in to ask any kinds of questions or get clarification on anything, you can certainly stop in. And you don't have to make an appointment for these office hours. It'll just be open just like the classroom was open today. If classroom hours don't work for whatever reason a certain week, and the office hours don't work, and you really need to discuss something, I'm fairly flexible. So if you need to meet on a Monday or even a Friday or something like that, let me know. We can arrange something that way. All right, so course description, we're going to go through some of the basics of structural features in anatomy and physiology. This is general anatomy physiology, but we pretty much stick to structural features. We stick to anatomy. Advanced A&P goes through the functional aspects, more or less the physiology. So we're basically just kind of building a foundation this semester, and then we go back through and review a few of the items we did this semester, and then get into more detail on the chemical and cellular levels. We do use a virtual open resource text from OpenStax. You can access that in multiple different ways. One way is through the syllabus, but you also are able to link in other ways. Any of you have any questions at the moment as we go? I think a lot of this, a lot of your questions hopefully will get answered. But again, if you do have them as we go, just let me know. So I clicked the link from the syllabus and it took me into OpenStax. And again, another way you can get to OpenStax is through your weekly units. And actually, I want to say you can also get there. So anyway, let's go in to weekly units. You can access your textbook that way as well. OpenStax textbook. So anyway, you can just Google OpenStax anatomy physiology to get to it as well. But regardless, if you haven't checked it out, it's extremely detailed. It's pretty user-friendly regarding how to navigate it. So I'm not going to go through it at the moment, but we will go through it here in a couple of minutes. I do want to go back to continue through with the syllabus and just get some of that ironed out. And then we'll go through the textbook a little bit and what some of the features are there. Same with visible body. You'll want to, if you haven't already, you'll want to purchase your code to get access to visible body. I know the bookstore has them. I don't. They're on back order. I think one or two of you emailed me. You may be able to find it directly through Visible Body as well if you go to their website. But regardless, at the beginning, if you don't have access to it quite yet, it probably isn't going to make that big of a difference. But certainly over the next couple of weeks, you want to make sure that you get that. And if after a couple of weeks you still don't have it, please let me know, and we'll figure something out for you. But anyhow, visible body, you'll be if you're not in there already, you'll be asked to join, or you were asked to join. You have a link for that, and you just type in your access code, and then it'll pull up the course. So we'll go through what that looks like and what the expectations are for visible body in just a few minutes. So let's see, course outcome summary. That's put together by the state of Wisconsin. All the 16 technical colleges across the state abide by the exact same course outcomes. And so your credits can transfer within the state. And so anyway, it's got a lot of kind of boring, if you're struggling falling asleep, a little insomnia cure might be to read through the course outcome summaries. So, but anyway, there they are. As you can see, it's a lot of words. You can see we go all the way down to, I want to say there used to be 20 of these, and they trimmed them down a little bit, it looks like. So we're now down to 16. So that's a plus. When we get to A&P, there are 12 competencies that we go through. So if you're ever unsure of what we're doing or why we're doing it in A&P, you just go to that course outcomes summary, and that'll probably put you to sleep more than anything. All right, well, this next section is probably the most important part of the syllabus. It's the most informative aspect, and it's what all of you are probably most interested in at the moment. So the course is out of 1,500 points. The range you need to be in for each grade is listed. So the A range, the A minus range, the B plus range, and so on. So if you need a B, you need to be in the 83 range. Maybe you need a B minus, maybe you need a C. I don't know what you need, but generally you probably want to shoot for at least around that 1350 out of 1,500 point range. So how do you get to 1,500 points? Well, there are basically 4 things every week that you're going to have to do. So the first one, you're going to have a weekly Padlet. We have 14 weeks together. So you're going to have 14 Padlets to do. So I'll pull those up in a little bit. You can see what that is. And then the visible body labs or visible body assignments. Again, I'll show you what that entails shortly. Those are 20 points apiece. And then you're going to have a little portfolio. It's basically kind of an all-encompassing packet, weekly packet that goes through and has you fill in a lot of different blanks and answer a bunch of different questions, basically to prepare you to do the last one here, and that's to take the exam. So you're going to have a weekly exam as well, which we'll talk about in just a few minutes. So every week you're going to have the same 4 things to do. You're going to have a Padlet entry to do, a visible body worksheet or lab assignment, a practice portfolio, and then the weekly exam, which will be 40 multiple choice questions. So again, we'll look at that in just a second. And then lastly, you'll have a final exam that'll be cumulative or comprehensive. It'll cover everything we've done this semester. There'll be probably about 6 or so, maybe 8 questions from previous exams, all compiled into a cumulative final exam. And that's worth 100 points. So anyhow, that's how we get to 1,500 points. Okay. And again, we'll go through what each of those are in just a second. Oh, back it up a little bit there. There we go. Okay, so key dates. The course obviously is open, and it'll close on December 10th at 11:59 p.m. I've got the calendar or schedule in here as well. So again, we do 14 units. Generally, we go through almost the entire OpenStax text. There are a couple of weeks here that do get a little bit hairy. The skeletal system, we go through about 4 chapters in a week. It seems like a lot. It is, but it's not as bad as it seems on the surface. And then we get down here to the nervous system. That's going to have multiple chapters as well. But generally, we do 1, maybe 2 chapters per week. Okay. And again, we use this same text when we take advanced, or when you take advanced, and we go back through some of these more specific items. So as we, the first couple chapters, I'll, as you read through or scan through the text, there are items that I want you to keep in mind, specific terms that I want you to focus on. As we start to get away from the first 3 or 4 chapters and we get into the skin and the bones and the muscles, there will be some physiology, there'll be some functional kind of chemistry and a little bit more advanced information. You're not going to read through that to really get a strong understanding of that information. You're going to kind of skim over it. Okay. All right. So anyhow, whereas the anatomy aspects, what structure is it? That is your focus this semester. It doesn't mean completely avoid reading through the chapters as we go, but again, you're going to want to be selective, and I'll talk about that each week regarding what to really focus on, because it can seem a little overwhelming. 27 chapters in 14 weeks averages out to almost 2 chapters a week. Some of them are fairly long. So I was a student once too. I rarely read through a textbook. I'll be honest, but I did go through and understand the bullets and the diagrams and the images and some of the key concepts. So there are many ways to use a textbook, and this OpenStax text is no different than a physical text. But just sitting and starting at page 1 and reading every single sentence and hanging on every word, good luck with that. That's a lot of that's intense. So I'll talk throughout the semester about how to approach each chapter in the text and what to look for and really how to read it. You can even highlight in your virtual OpenStax textbook. So anyway, that is your course calendar. So if you and you know, there will be an opportunity to work ahead potentially, but for the most part, this course is set up to be week by week by week. So we do 1 week, you get everything done. We open up and do the next week, get everything done, and we just keep building upon that. I will have a few of the as we go throughout the semester, probably toward the middle of the semester, I may have some of the later units open and available. So, some of you may decide that you're able and ready to kind of move forward, maybe do it a little more of a self-paced way, format. So I don't want to hold any of you back from that either. But I think initially the first 5 or 6 weeks, as you get your feet wet a little bit, we're going to just take it week by week. So anyway, that just because that question does get asked every semester. Can we work ahead? Can we work ahead? And that opportunity will come up. So, like I say, probably around midterm. Now, for advanced, if you have me for advanced A&P, I open up the entire course on day 1. all 14, 15 weeks, and you can work at your own pace. Even though we still meet, we still discuss. So anyhow, so if you're wondering about that, that's the answer there. Important dates, I've got the course or the college calendar up. Monday is Labor Day. Certainly we don't meet on Mondays anyway. Wednesdays we don't meet either, but if you do have Wednesday classes, Wednesday, September 23rd is there are no classes. You won't have any no office hours either. I have office hours on Wednesdays. That Wednesday, the 23rd, no office hours. So I'll remind you of that. And if you have other classes that are Wednesdays, no classes that day. And then for Thanksgiving, Thursday, obviously the 26th, we're not going to meet that day either. So you don't want to Zoom live at my Thanksgiving dinner, trust me. Let's see. That's it really as far as dates. I think the only time we won't meet is Thanksgiving Day. Department policies, that's lab safety. That's for face-to-face. So you don't necessarily have to read through that. The rest of this is going to be the same stuff you're going to get from all of your classes regarding academic honesty, academic integrity. There's a couple things. Let's see. Pregnant and parenting, we have what's called Title IX. The federal government has Title IX with all of the colleges. So if there's any medical or pregnancies or anything that may be any type of a hurdle for you completing the course, or just let me know and I'll steer you to the right direction so we can get an extension, or we can, I'm very flexible anyway. So as far as it goes, so due dates and if things come up, things come up, especially nowadays. There's a lot of stuff going on. So and many of you probably work and have family. So just email me and let me know if you need more time. If you have complaints, there's a process for that. Due process. So anyway, you can read through this on your own. Tobacco, there's no smoking on campus, but you're at home, so you can smoke all you want. I wouldn't recommend it, but let's see. The care team meets regularly. This is deals with any issues that students may have. You can certainly go to the care team. That's for extreme circumstances. Before you get to the care team, we have disability support services as well as student services. So if you ever have issues, not just with this class, if you have financial issues, obviously internet is important. You need your internet to be turned on. If you have transportation, food, shelter, big issues, just shoot me an email, let me know. I will put you in with the right department and the right people with Gateway. They can help you. Now let's back up. If you just need tutoring, if you just need just a little advice, even if it's acute, if you just need tutoring for one exam, or if you need help on completing your portfolio assignments, whatever it might be, let me know, and I can send you to the right people. We have peer tutors as well as professional tutors, so we can help you out that way. If you think you have or you already do know you have a learning disability of any kind, again, we have the Disability Support Services Office. There's a link right there in the syllabus. That'll take you to that. If you need extra time on the exams or anything like that, that's who you go through. At some point in the semester. So anyhow, student support, disability support, any other type of support, we have it. So reach out if you need any type of support. We do have course evaluations. You'll get an email, and I'll remind you of that probably about week 10 or so. So we'll talk about that when it comes. Pandemic emergencies. This is new. This was never in our syllabi before. So certainly, obviously, we're social distancing for this class, but you may have other classes where you have to be on campus. So Gateway has taken major steps to ensure that social distancing and all the other all the stuff you hear about constantly, right? The washing of the hands and the social distancing and the wearing of the masks, plexiglass, on and on and on. Gateway obviously has you know, we're a big college, several campuses, so we've taken care of the CDC regulations and guidelines regarding COVID-19. So if you do have to go on campus for whatever reason, for other classes, for library, student support services, whatever it might be, the campuses are open. We just ask that you wear your mask and you social distance. And again, there are certain entrances to the campuses that are closed and others that are open. So anyhow, that's what we're doing that way. So anyhow, if you that's basically what that says. And if you're sick, I mean, even if you don't have COVID, if you're sick, stay home. You know, you don't want to be out and about if you've got the flu or anything else for that matter. And even again, you always want to have your ID if you do have an ID, or if you know your driver's license on you as well. If you do go on campus. That's pretty much it. Students, again, student support services, if you need any type of counseling, grief counseling, as well, we provide that. So emotional counseling, mental counseling, whatever type of counseling you need, we can help you with that as well. So, and again, if you need to meet, I can help you too with whatever you need for this particular course, but I can also help direct you to the right departments and offices. So, and everything is confidential, so you don't need to feel that unless you announce it in front of all of us in class, then it's still confidential with us in this group. But anyway, that's know that everything is confidential if you do have to discuss anything. So that's it for the syllabus. That is again available under the syllabus tab. The next tab you see is the weekly units tab. So I'm going to go into that one next. And this is where you're going to have all 14 of your folders. So as the semester goes, you're going to see more and more folders populate. So week one is available. You click on week one, and this is where you're going to find everything you need for week one. Or at least how to access these items, hyperlinks to get to them. So week one is going through some of the basics of anatomy and physiology, and a little bit with homeostasis and feedback. So there'll be a little bit of physiology discussion too, not a heck of a lot, just a little bit. Our goal is really just to get you going on anatomical terms, introduce you to basically seeing a different kind of language, discussing different directional terminology. We don't really use up and down or front and back. We use more specific medical terminology as we go. So basically everything we do in these 2 semesters of general and advanced A&P is to prep you for being able to translate and understand what's going on in the clinic when you're looking at any of your patient charts, or just generally being told what to do or telling other people what to do, right? Hey, you guys will be kind of the go-between with the physicians and the patients. So your knowledge of A&P is extremely important. So this is week one of roughly 30 weeks of A&P that you're going to have. So if you're a little bit nervous or a little bit unsure, that's okay. We take it slow. There's a lot going on, but we've got 30 weeks to get through it, and just trust the process, trust yourselves, and just follow what's going on week by week. And it's pretty well laid out for you. But if you ever do have questions, again, just please email me, or let me know in our weekly meetings. Hey, so you're going to have this will look the same every week. You're going to have a little bit of an intro of what your topics are for the week. And then you're going to have your 4 sections broken down. Engage, that means you're getting into the material a little bit. You're just kind of gaining a very small kind of surface understanding of what's going on. And in order to do that, you're going to go to what's called a Padlet. And a Padlet is sort of like a wiki page, sort of like a discussion board and a wiki combined. So we'll check Padlet out in just a second. The Padlet link will always be under Engage. So you'll have 14 Padlets to do. I'll have some video links in here. There are a couple of little ebooks or presentations that are helpful as well. So Engage is where you want to start. It'll get your feet wet a little bit and get you thinking about the topic for the week. From there, we get into the Comprehend section, and that's where I'm going to have the OpenStax textbook link will always be there for the chapter you're on. There's a key terms link as well that'll take you to some of the key terms that you're going to need to know. The Zoom link, of course, is another spot for you to find the Zoom link. And then the weekly slides that we go through will also be located in the Comprehend. Now, the gradable item underneath the Comprehend aspect will be something related to the visible body. And again, if you don't have visible body yet, it's not a big deal. I provide you with the worksheets and the assignments, the ability to complete these, even if you don't have visible body yet. You can use other sources. You can use your OpenStax book. You can use the Google machine, YouTube. There are a lot of avenues that you can take to answer the questions each week from the Comprehend section, which is usually going to be some sort of a visible body activity. And Thursdays, by the way, on Thursdays will be kind of tidying up anything we didn't do on Tuesdays, but that's also the opportunity for you to ask questions about your portfolio assignments, your physio or visible body activities. I can put you in breakout rooms. You can work together if you want. I think part of the struggle I think some students have with online learning is in the classroom we work together in groups, and you get to communicate, you get to see one another and work with one another. It takes some of the learning load off of the individual student. When we get into the online setting, it can kind of feel like you're on an island a little bit, and that you're in this room and there's one person talking and multiple other people in the room, but there's not really maybe that connection that you desire. So Thursdays will be an opportunity for you to work in groups in what Zoom calls them breakout rooms, where I can assign the breakout rooms. They can be random, but I can put you in groups of 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever, however many students, and or if there are 2 or 3 of you that's know each other or that get to know each other and want to be in a breakout room to go through your assignments together. Like I say, you can you'd be able to share your screens with one another. You'd be able to communicate in a way that is very similar to the way you would communicate in a face-to-face setting. So one thing we would do in class is you'd have an assignment or a lab assignment, and if it's 40 questions and there are 4 students in the group, one, you could take them and you do 10, each student does 10 questions, and then you come together and share your answers and tell each other what the answers are for the first 10 that you did and why you got them. And so you're collaborating. So we can collaborate in here is what I'm saying. And that's what Thursdays, you'll have the opportunity to do that if you'd like. So that's the plan. So if some of these activities and some of these portfolio seem like a lot of work, well, they are a lot of work. They're supposed to be a lot of work. So you need to spend some time certainly outside of here working on them. But know that Thursdays you have an opportunity, if you'd like to take it, to work together on some of that stuff. So anyway, that's the gradable item under comprehend. And then practice, you're going to I put the review in there from OpenStax. You can also visit Quizlet is a great way to review. And then there's something else that I'll show you over here on the side. We have a review questions tab. So I'll click that. That's another batch of questions that you can use to review for the exam. And then the apply every week is to take the exam. So those are your directions for each week. Now, as we scroll down, I've broken each of these up into sections within each folder. So you can see it says engage in this week's lesson, has the Padlet, has the anatomy terminology video, and then it has those 2 ebooks. So everything you just saw up here under the engage section is also going to be found with maybe a little more detail. It has a little thumbnail you can watch there as well. But anyway, it has the links to those ebooks as well. And then this has the link to the Padlet. So it's just a little more detail of the same stuff. So there's your textbook chapter 1, some terminology, the Zoom classroom. So under the comprehend section. So every week it'll be separated out the exact same way. Yeah. The slides are in there, and then the visible body link and the visible body lab. Yeah. Now there's by the way, when you do the Padlet, which I'll show you how to do that in just a second, you don't have to do anything in Blackboard specifically. I will enter your grade each week for participating in the Padlet based on, I will go into Padlet and check to see if you've submitted a comment, and then I go into keep track of it, and then I'll put everybody's grade in it at the same time for the Padlet entry. Now, the next 2 items, let me go back up here real quick, the visible body activities that you have under the comprehend, and the portfolio, the weekly portfolio under practice. Those are 2 assignments that you're going to put into what we call a Dropbox. So I want to show you now where that's located and how to use that. Okay, visible body lab. So you can access there's a Google document for it. So if you click there, it's going to open Google Docs, a Google document. It'll open it up to look like this on your computer. From here, you can either download it to your computer. If you have Word, which I would recommend that you get Word if you don't already have it. You, as a student of Gateway, you have free access, and I can pull that up. You have free access to the Microsoft Office package. So you can get that Office 365 for free. So anyway, but you don't necessarily need it, but if you have it or want it, you can get it. So you can download this and have your own Word document, or you can open it with Google Docs. Google Docs is basically Microsoft Word. It's Google's version of Word. So so yeah, you get have access to it that way. You can it may be a read only document for you from here, so um, you would have to again download your own version of it, or save your own version of it to be able to type into it. So yeah, so either way, however you go about it, you're gonna type into. I would recommend downloading it as a Word document personally, but again, a Google Doc works just as well. Okay, so if I click that, it's going to download it. Okay, so then you'll have the opportunity from here. You can type right into the document, and then save it. Just save it as it is, lab 1 anatomical terms dot your last name, or underscore your last name, hyphen last name. Just include your last name in there when you do save it. Okay, so you're going to download, attain that Word document. And again, you can use Visible Body for this. You don't have to. You can use OpenStax to go through and answer some of these questions. And again, on Thursday, you can, we can work on it in breakout rooms. Okay. Oh, one thing too, I wanted to mention, these, you don't have to type into these. It says, or I put in the directions, identify where the anatomical terms from the list below are located. You do not need to type anything in. So you just need to be able to go through this and locate where these are. Where is the axillary region that points to the armpit area? Okay, so just it's kind of just a way for you to go through and identify some of those, but you don't need to type anything in for those specific ones. You just need to be able to identify them. These other ones you do need to type. They're just clear, concise, and brief, one-word answers. So we'll go through on Thursday. I'll pull that back up and ask if you have any questions, and talk about that in a little bit more detail. So again, basically every Thursdays. Hey, all right, iPhones go. All right, I don't know who iPhone is, but
Oh, it's me, Samantha. I wanted to see if it works. But
Samantha. Hey, how you doing, Samantha?
yeah. Oh, good. I was about to purchase the book. We have to purchase it, right?
The Visible Body book. Yeah, I would recommend getting. Now, I don't think it's an actual book. I think it's I think they give you a code for you to enter into the like basically an access code.
But where do I get the code?
Um, Can any of I believe the bookstore has the code. Can any of you have? I know some of you have purchased it because you've been able to access Visible Body. Um, can any of Is that true? Can any of you jump on and?
Yeah, you purchase it from the bookstore and then they send in the mail the access code, and it gives you a paper of also how to log into the site and create your account.
So they put it in like the post office mail. It's not an email.
Yeah, I got mine through the mail when I ordered it off the bookstore, but I don't know if you could go in when campus is open to the bookstore and get it that way.
Sure. Yeah, I bet yeah, because the bookstores are open, so you can probably go in and they can give it to you that way too. Sure.
So I can't just go online, or I can.
I would think you could go to Visible Body's website and order it through them directly. Um,
Same thing with the OpenStax
Now,
online too.
OpenStax is free. You don't have to do anything with that one. You don't have to do anything with the bookstore for that one. So, You can, some students want a hard copy of the of a textbook. It doesn't have to be OpenStax. If you want to purchase an A&P book through Amazon or eBay, by all means. I think I sent out an email. I can resend it, because some of you may not, if you register, this was like a week or two ago, before the class opened. So some of you have have been added to the course, so you may not have received it, but I'll resend an email. It has a list of other books and authors from Amazon and eBay that you could also purchase. Because I mean, to A&P books from one to another are very similar. So if any of you are intimidated by using a virtual text, it's totally understandable. Your option is, you have many options if you want to possess an actual physical text. You can purchase it through, you can get from Amazon a hard copy of the OpenStax text, and I think it runs around $50. But let me go to Amazon real quick and pull up. There are a couple books you could purchase. A big hardcover A&P text that's maybe like 3 or 4 years old for like $10.
The
So
the visible body, it's an app, right? Because I
yeah.
looked it up
Oh,
and I can just buy it there.
okay. So I'm going to go there in just a second. Let me pull this up real quick for you. Anatomy, physiology, text. So you can go in. I recommend like probably this guy Patton is really good, or one called Holes, Holes. But you could find either Patton or Holes. You could get their texts like 8th editions or older editions for like $10. So please check those out. Don't spend $150 on a textbook.
If you're looking for the visual body, like code and everything, I would suggest calling the bookstore and like talking to them about how you go about getting it for our course specifically, rather than just going on to Visible Body's website and purchasing an access code, because it might be for the wrong thing.
Oh,
Absolutely. Plus, if you get it through the bookstore, you're going to have access. So let me pull up Visible Body to show you what you get. If you get it from, and if you call them, if you can't go in physically to do it, if you call them, ask them too, if they will email you the code, the access code, so that you don't have to wait, 3 or 4 days for it to show up in the mail. So,
because I
so
looked it up and it was being it says that I have to request an instructor code, and then I went on the app store because I have an iPhone, and it's just there. You just pay $25 and you
yeah,
can download.
don't do that, because how much did you guys, those that purchased it, how much was it through the bookstore?
I think it was around like $15-$25, and then once you get into the actual website, you can download all those apps for free.
There you go. Yeah, because I think we're trying to keep the price from the bookstore low. So if you purchase it from the bookstore, you get, so now I'm in Visible Body. We are 2E1A. So once you get it, what you're gonna see this. You're gonna have the access to it. Now, what I clicked on was this link. So any of you who don't have the book yet, or the code, I should say, if you click on this Visible Body link, it'll take you to where you type in the code. Okay, because you don't have access yet. So by clicking this link, it's linked to our class. So it'll take you to the class, but it'll ask you to create an account. It'll ask you if you have an access code. or your instructor was, has a course code. So I can resend that out. Because what I do is I can share I share the core, or I shared it in an email. I think that's how you guys were able to access it that way. But I believe this is the same link in Blackboard that will get you to a spot where you can type in your access code.
I have a question.
Sure.
I just hit that link in the Blackboard, and when I go to my visible body, it says, looks like you have not been invited to a course. Please ask your professor for a link to get started. But then when I hit that link, it says an error that this page doesn't exist.
Same. Yeah.
Oh no. Okay.
So I don't see any of our course in the actual visible body website. All I see is the apps.
Okay. Let me check that in here and see why that might be the case. Yeah, Brittany and Samantha are the only two in the roster that were able to. And I think Brittany and Samantha, are you in here?
I'm here, but is there two Samantha's or is there one? Because I don't know about that.
Oh, well, probably two. So here's this. This is the night group, I believe. So I don't know why they're able to get, but you guys aren't. Well, we'll get it figured out.
Yeah, because it says, looks like you have not been invited to a course. Please ask your professor for a link to get started.
All right. Well, I'm going to copy the link right now, and I'm going to put it in an announcement, and you'll all get the email now. So try doing it from this announcement. So let's try that.
It says I have to sign in, but how do I sign up? Because I don't have anything.
You have to wait for the activation code that you have to purchase.
Okay.
Lord, I'm so confused where to do that.
At the bookstore, online, or
me too. So I think here, let me pull up. So anyway, that's going. You should have received an email. Well, not yet. It hasn't gone.
Oh, it lets me sign up now.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I'm in. That link that you sent in the announcement worked.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Sweet. Well, thank you. Yeah, that's good that we meet in this way, because especially the first couple of weeks, it's because from your guys' end, I just assume it works if I don't hear anything any different. So yeah, always let me know what's going on. So that link will get you into visible body. And oh yeah, it's already filling up. Eduardo, Elena, cool. So there you go. Good. Okay, so once you're in there and you start perusing, it says My Apps down at the bottom left. So if you click My Apps, these are the ones that, like, this one's $25 in the App Store, Human Anatomy Atlas, but it's part of your purchase. So once you have access to this course, then you can download these apps for free. It's part of what you paid for. So if you wanted to purchase them individually, it'd be like 25, it'd probably be $100 or so. And in visible body, I want to emphasize too, as we go through the semester, we're gonna. Well, first of all, I highly recommend, if you have access to it, or as you get access to it, just play around with it a little bit, poke around and see especially the Human Anatomy Atlas. That's a really good app but it can be a little bit much. There's a lot of layers, and some of the items we go through, we just don't get into that much detail. But Thursdays again will be kind of visible body Thursday, and any other questions that you might have. But we'll go through some of this stuff together. I want to give you tours of the visible body. This Thursday is what my plan is, to go through what the bells and whistles are, what's all of the content. So between now and Thursday, your assignment is to try to get access to visible body. And if you can't, email me by Thursday and let me know.
Oh yeah, so I guess I'm paying the $49 because it says that I need an activation code. But since all my classes are online, I don't know if I want to go to the bookstore. I mean,
I don't blame you. Give them a call though, and they should be able to provide you with whatever you need, via email, via phone, that way.
okay.
And let me know if they get, let me know if you run into any bumps. But that they know that, that the way things are, these are online classes, the whole, that there are going to be a whole bunch of students, myself included, who really don't have any desire to really be, getting on campus and wandering around bookstores and trying to get things ironed out. But when it could potentially be done over the phone, and then they could send you the email receipt with the online access code. Okay, so between now and Thursday, try and get logged in and try and access the code, and then try and get into Visible Body, and then and poke around a little bit. Download one or more of the apps. If you're on a PC or a laptop, you don't necessarily have to download the apps. You can still access them and use them I'm on a laptop, so if I pulled up any one of those apps, it would pull them up as basically another window. So anyway, you can access them however you need to, in whatever device you're using. So and then Thursday I'll go through and kind of give you a tour of Visible Body. So you'll by then, most if not all of you hopefully will have access to it and have maybe looked around a little bit and checked it out a little bit to see, and maybe come up with some questions. But if not, don't feel obligated or anything. Just know that Thursday I'll go through and get that going. Give you a little bit of a tour, talk about expectations. But yeah, it looks like it's filling up a little bit, so that's awesome. Excellent. And thank you for letting me know that you were unable to get access. I think I don't know if that was you, Elena, or who that was, but whoever it was, thank you. And let's see. All right, so that's your assignment for between now and Thursday is to get that Visible Body. The other thing that textbook wise is let me just go into the Google machine. Again, you can just type in, I should have typed it in the bar, but you just type in OpenStax Anatomy, and it'll pull it right up. Oh, look at that answer key, test bank. Well, I don't use their test bank, so, but you can still find it useful, potentially. So anyhow, so if you're using your phone or the Google machine and you don't want to log into Blackboard or whatever to access OpenStax, just find this page and then bookmark it, and boom, it'll take you there every single time. So I want to go through just a couple of those items as well. Again, Thursday I'll spend a little bit more time going through some of the bells and whistles that go with OpenStax. I do want to show you a few right now as well. So if you're at your computer or your laptop or your tablet, I'm assuming most of you are following along, if not all of you. But if you haven't made it to OpenStax yet, that's your other assignment, is to get into OpenStax between now and Thursday and check it out. Again, if you want to, let me close table of contents. So this is what it's going to look like when you make it to the home screen. There's a spot called Student Resources. So we'll go through that in a second as well. But I just wanted to show you a couple other ways. You can download the book as a PDF. And in Blackboard, I actually have it as a PDF under textbook info. The PDF of the textbook is also under textbook info. It's like 1,500 page PDF file. But, if you want to download as a PDF, you can. Download the app. Yeah. Go ahead, Samantha. Oh, hold on. You're on mute. Let me unmute you. Okay. I don't know why it's not unmuting you. Unmute audio. Oh, you can unmute yourself if you want. If you guys ever have questions, remember to unmute yourself, and then you can, because for whatever reason it's not letting me do it. Go ahead, Samantha.
So it lets you something happened. So you have to share the app or whatever when you get it?
No, you don't have to.
Okay, because it said that I had to share to get the books. Like, I had to email myself.
You have to
get
email
them or
yourself
something
the
like that?
link to download the apps for free.
There you go. So yes, hit share, because then what it'll do is that's right. It'll send you, it basically links up your accounts. It validates that you're the owner of that purchase, and that you wanted to link to your email. Something like that. It's a lot of techno talk this early in the day. But I think so.
Sorry, I have.
Okay. Do I need them all?
You can. They're pretty heavy. They're pretty big. They're bulky. But so not necessarily. If you don't get them all, it doesn't mean you can't get them all later. But you definitely want to get that blue one, the Human Anatomy Atlas.
For the visible.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Is it okay if we use our personal email, or does it have to be the student email?
That I don't know. If you purchased it from the bookstore and used your school email, then maybe. But then again, I'm not sure. If you use your personal email, and it for whatever reason doesn't allow you to link them, it'll give you a chance. It's not like a one-shot deal, and then you can never access it again. So if you prefer to do your personal email, I don't know. I don't see why not. Now, I don't know if is that for the apps? If for the apps, then yeah, you could use your personal. But now if it comes to the one, the course one, then it's going to want your student email.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Although Brittany, I see she's in a Gmail, Hotmail. Never mind, scratch that. I guess you can use whatever email you want. So yeah, as I scrolled down through, I saw all GTC ones, and then I see a Gmail and a Hotmail. So no, Valentina, you could use whatever you want. Okay. So yeah, visible body. If you have more questions, yeah, just ask them as you get them. Email me too if you need to, and then like I say, on Thursday we'll go through and kind of tour it and get a little bit more of a feel for it. So anyway, download on iBooks. So if you have an iPad or tablet or what iPhone, if you're an Apple person, you can download OpenStax for free onto iBooks. If you're an Amazon Kindle person, you can get this in Kindle as well. So anyway, there's a lot of ways to get the OpenShare, OpenStax A&P text. Okay, so we'll go through and look at it in just a second. Click on student resources as well. There's some very good ones in here. A couple of them are just downloadable guides. So the getting started guide, it'll show you how to use it, how to do highlighting, how to access. It's pretty straightforward. I'll show you some of the tools and features, but if there's if you want to know more about it, certainly check that out. There's a pronunciation guide. Again, a lot of what we do with A&P is Greek and Latin derived, and so some of the pronunciations, if you haven't taken medical terminology, first of all, I would recommend it if you haven't taken med term. It's very helpful and it'll fit in very well with what you're doing as medical professionals. But in the meantime, we certainly go through med term and pronunciation in this class. But so anyway, there's a pronunciation guide you can download. Anatomy Zone has some multiple choice questions and illustrations and interactive activities, so you can check out the Anatomy Zone. There's a solutions guide to their review questions I'll show you, that I highly recommend going through each week as you're prepping for your exams, and it has the solutions for those review questions as well. So you can download that guide. Talks about student time management, how to take notes. So those are some of the other resources for the OpenStax that you may want to look into. So anyway, if we go back to book details, click on table of contents, and opens up every single chapter and then all of the subunits. So we're going to go through most of this text this semester. And again, like I said earlier, there will be some spots that we just won't cover at all, because we're going to cover those in advanced A&P. So I don't want to get you too bogged down with some of the nitty gritty details of how things work. I want to bog you down with the nitty gritty of what things are. So what is it is really the kind of the overriding theme or the mantra of this semester is, what is it? What is that structure? When I see it, can I label it? Can I identify it? So then we go system by system. The first week is your basic introduction to the human body and to anatomy and physiology. It goes through a little bit with regards to terminology. Okay. So anyhow, overview of A&P, function of human life. Now, so it reads and looks, it's identical to any physical textbook that you have. In fact, all of the contributing authors to these OpenStax books are textbook authors already. So they just decided to collaborate and provide a resource to students instead of ripping them off. So you guys are coming into being college students at a great time. The package we used to force you guys to buy was $368 for A&P. So we've trimmed out the cost quite a bit. And you're getting just as good, if not better, materials. So anyway, you can access that. You can read through it. You can download it into your Kindle or your iBooks from there, not necessarily from here. I'm just viewing it from the actual website, so I can't do maybe all of the highlighting and all of the, you can dog ear, turn over the pages of the book if you want. I mean, there's so many things you can do with the online text. So anyway, download that sucker. What I wanted to pull up is the key terms. At the end, you can see all of these 1.1 all the way down to 1.7. That's the actual text. So you'll want to peruse and scan and read through that. But they also put at the end of each chapter a key terms section. So you can go through and look at some of the key terms. There's a chapter review. This is maybe where you want to really focus your energy before reading. Sometimes the review really could be the preview. So I really would probably go about approaching the OpenStax text by reading the chapter review first, because you'll notice it's only it's look at how much they break it down. Right. So you get 1.1 through 1.7 in basically one page. So you can scan through, read through this, and then, when you go back into the chapters or the sections of the chapter, you have a little bit more understanding of what's going on, or you just kind of reinforcing what you read. So you could view the chapter review really as a chapter preview. That's my recommendation anyway, for approaching this. Because if I just start clicking on 1.1, 1.2, you saw when we went back and looked at 1.1, that's just a lot of words strung together. It's a lot of detail. Yeah, it's a nice, pretty pictures, but that's kind of heavy to have to sort through right off the bat. So if you go and you do the review / preview, then that'll give you a little bit, maybe make things a little more palatable and easier to grasp once you get into reading it, if you choose to read it. And then lastly, at the end of each chapter, they have interactive link questions. And remember, when we were looking at the student resources, there was the one downloadable for student review question answers. So if you download that will give you the answers for these particular questions. Okay. The interactive link questions are pretty cool. They have little animations or videos. That's why they're called interactive link questions. And then there are some review questions. Okay. Your exams each week are multiple choice with 4 options. So they're going to look a lot like this. So you may want to go through as you're reviewing and try and answer those. And again, the answer key for these was back over here under Student Resources, Student Solution Guide. And if there's anything we're discussing here, I mean, we're going through a lot. We've already been going at it for an hour and 20 minutes or so. I am recording this. So if there's anything that you missed, or if after we finish and you go like, oh man, tonight you're getting ready to go to bed or whatever, and your brain and head are spinning and you're like, oh man, what did he say about that? What did he say about this? Remember, it's in the video. Quite possibly. If it's not, you can shoot me an email. You can email me anytime, by the way. I generally check my email right up to the time I go to bed, which is usually around the midnight hour. And I usually get up around 7 or 8, and sometimes earlier, sometimes I go to, but in that range. sometimes I go to bed later, but I do check my emails regularly. I have them connected with my phone, so I get an email notification. So I try to respond relatively quickly to your emails. So especially now that school's going, I know a few of you emailed me over the between semesters, and I may have been a little slow to get back to you. I apologize for that. I'm normally during the semester, it's not that way. You'll get a response from me sometimes within minutes. So so anyway, you can text me, not text me, I guess it's kind of like texting, but you email me, I get it on my phone and respond that way. So I just wanted to throw that in there. And then there are some critical thinking questions as well that are a little more detailed. I would definitely recommend, as maybe like in preparation for doing the exam, you could maybe go through and do some of these as well. So anyhow, any questions on OpenStax, how to access it? Again, you can download it into your Kindle, into your iBooks, into, as a PDF. There are multiple ways of accessing and attaining it. Okay. The other thing I wanted to show you. So Zoom meeting room, Padlet. So we still have to talk about the Padlet. Weekly units. We never did make it to do how to do a Dropbox. So let's go back to, we were talking about visible body. We were talking about textbooks. Padlets. Let's do that. Let's do Padlets first. A Padlet, you guys need a break? Why don't we take a break first? Let's come back and no, let's do Padlet first. I'll take it. This only takes a couple minutes. Oh, cool. Some of you have already been in here. That's good. Okay, so Padlet, this is where you're going to go if you click on this Padlet link. You're also going to, so this is under Engage. The first thing I would do every time I started a week, so I open up the week 1 folder. First thing I'm going to do is click on Padlet. Pardon me. Every time. Okay. So let me go back. I need to make this open in a new window. There are, so within each week, the Padlet link will link you to the specific Padlet. That's what I was trying to show you. So if I click that, it's going to link me to that week's Padlet. Now, what is a Padlet? Like I said earlier, it's kind of like a wiki board. I've got several different YouTube thumbnail videos. Okay. You can watch them right in your Padlet board. So you can watch it right in there. You can full screen it from there. You can watch it, open it up into YouTube. Okay. So they're short videos. They're anywhere from 3 minutes to maybe 10 minutes. There might be some occasionally that are longer. You're not required to watch every single one of them. I would recommend it because they are short, but they introduce, each Padlet will have videos that discuss the topic that we're on. So this particular week is Introduction to Anatomy and Physiology. So I have several different 1, 2, 3, I don't know, 6 or so. That's usually, there'll be between 4 and 7 Padlets on each week. So you can watch any one of these, all of them, none of them, one of them, whatever. Well, not none of them. At least watch one. But anyhow, you get the idea. And then you need to go, and you can see there are pluses at the bottom here. I'd like you to click one of those pluses, and then in the title, either just put your name, okay? And then you can write what, just make a comment. The comments, as you can see, this person wrote one sentence here, one sentence here. That's fine. There's no real parameters other than, don't swear, and, keep it somewhat professional. And you don't have to reply to peers if you don't want to, but you need to do an original post. Now, what this individual did was they clicked add, which is fine. They clicked add comment under the video, and they started typing. One of the good things they did, though, is they put their name in it. So that's good. You want to put your name in it. If you comment under the video like that, you have to remember to put your name in it. I prefer you don't do it that way. I do prefer that you do original posts underneath. So click the plus under any one of these, and then for the title, put your name. Okay. The other thing I would recommend is signing up for a Padlet account. It's free. It's just simply would want to know a username, your email address, and that's it. And so at that point, whenever you go into Padlet to do any of these, you don't have to type your name into the title. It already has your name. So then you can title it something else, but or you can still put your name in the title. But regardless, please identify yourself when you put a post in here, because if you don't identify yourself, when I go through and I'm entering grades, and anonymous usually ends up getting 2 or 3 points, and I don't have anonymous in my grade book, so I don't know where to put those points. So anyway, my point is, either sign up for a Padlet account, or remember to put your name in. Again, and the directions are up here. They're pretty straightforward. Watch one or more of the videos and type an original comment that discusses what you learned, found interesting, or have questions about. Feel free to link a website. Again, when I'm in there typing my original post, there's a spot where I could link a website. Okay. I can upload, link, snap, voice, screen. I can even draw something if I want. So there's more, you can put more in there if you want than just a couple comments. Again, it's up to you. Feel free to comment on your peers. It's not required, but it's encouraged. So that's it for the Padlet. It's basically kind of like a discussion board that has different videos for you to little thumbnail videos for you to watch. And you may find like throughout the semester, I'll always have Crash Course guy in there. I'll probably have an Amoeba Sisters one in there. I may have some registered nurse A&P tip people in there. So these guys all have channels that are pretty expansive. Professor Dave as well. So anyhow, you may find you really like Amoeba Sisters, and so every week you look for the Amoeba Sisters one and watch that one, and that's the one you comment on every single week. That's fine. Okay. So anyhow, you're going to end up with 14 different Padlets. Okay. If you go to Padlet from this Padlet link, it will take you to my homepage wallpaper. The general ones are green. Okay, so don't click on blue ones. This is what you have to look forward to for advanced. But the green ones are general. I don't have anything in for number 2 yet. I've just started to create it, so you don't need to worry about anything with number 2 quite yet. But this link will take you to my dashboard and give you options to pick from. But each week, the link that's in under the weekly units will always be, it'll always link you out to the specific Padlet for the week.
Okay, so I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So when I click on the link, it only gives me one option from like 2 years ago. Like that's the only thing I see.
This link in here, the Padlet link, in the activities, or the one that's out on the side?
The one that's on the side.
Okay. How about go into the one, I just added that one last night. So if it's being weird like that, then I don't know. Then I may eliminate it. But how about the one in the under the weekly activities? Hopefully that one.
You said under weekly activities.
Yeah, so go under weekly units, and then intro to A&P, anatomical terms, week 1, and then scroll down, and it'll be there. So what I'll do, since
Okay.
this link over here isn't working, let me hide it. I'm gonna delete it.
Worked.
That one worked?
Like under activities, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so what I'll do instead, is I'll still have a Padlet. I'll make it a content area, and Padlet links, and what it'll have in it. So I'll make it right now. And what it'll have in it is the actual links. So I'll put it there. So we're going to open that up, and then build content. We're going to put week 1 Padlet, and then copy, paste, submit. So what you'll have instead, so along the side, you'll still have a Padlet thing, but it'll be Padlet links. You'll click it, and then it'll have the link. It'll have all 14 links in it, so you can access it quickly that way.
I have a question as well.
Sure, Jasmine.
So this is a while ago, but I'm still on the visible body, so I was just checking it out to see where I'm at. And I ordered the visible body 2-year access off of the bookstore, but I don't have like the access code or anything. So I was just wondering what.
When did you order it?
2 weeks ago, I think.
Ugh, okay. Grumble. So what that tells me is they may be out of the codes, which, I mean, it's a code. So I don't know. It's not a book. So I don't know how, I'm going to make myself a note, because, now, have you called them or tried to connect with them in any way?
The bookstore or visible body?
Oh, the bookstore.
Yeah, I just called them and they said I have a book there, but that's my psychology book. So they said to come in and check it out, but I mean, they didn't really give me an answer.
Okay. So are you going to go pick up your psych book?
Yeah, right after this class.
Oh, okay. So when you're there, ask them about the status of your visible body order. And that from your understanding, it's just you simply need an access code, and they should be able to just hand it over, I would imagine. But if not, no matter what happens, Jasmine, let me know. If they were able to give it to you, let me know. If they weren't able to give it to you, let me know. And then, okay, yeah, that one works. Or visible, it's okay. So the book's done. So now Hope says, Hope tried to access, ordered it from the bookstore, and they said it's on back order. So visible body from the bookstore links, when I registered, and it says it's back ordered. So Jasmine, since you're going to be at the bookstore today, ask them about that and see what they say, and let me know. If they say it's on back order, just ask them when they might know how soon that would be coming in. And Hope would say the same thing. Maybe give them a call, and I'll tell you what, I don't, because we have 4 campuses, 4 bookstores. Well, we have 3. I don't think we have a bookstore at Burlington, but anyway, let me find out why Visible Body would be on back order. Or not why, I guess that I can't do anything about it, but maybe find out when it will no longer be on back order. And of course, they'll say it's because of COVID-19. I heard mine from the bookstore too, and online it says my order is still being processed, or a little over a week ago. Okay, cool. Any of you, any others, thank you, Hope and Jolie. Any of you who are experiencing the same thing with the bookstore, please put that in the chat so then I can make note of it. And then I won't use specifics. 3 to 4 weeks. All teachers were aware. I guess we see where I rank. I'm not in the all teachers club yet. So all right. This is unfortunately not Visible Body, but this seems to be a theme with certain texts from time to time, and the bookstore claiming that we are all aware of it, and we're all not. We're always the last ones to know. We rely on you guys to tell us what to do, actually. So anyway, cool. Well, thanks, Hope and Jolie, and then again, anybody else, please email me or put it in the chat. What's going on with that, because I have a rep. I've got connections with Visible Body, so I may be able to expedite the process. Sans bookstore. So, because you shouldn't have to be waiting for you shouldn't have to be waiting for an online access code. That seems awfully weird. So anyway. All right. So Padlet, Visible Body. Tell you what, instead of taking a break, I'll just continue and we'll wrap it up in a nice tidy bow. I've already given you guys a lot of info. So we were talking about review questions. Here's another link over here on the side. And then I want to show you how to do drop boxes. It's pretty straightforward. The review questions, I will have, it's kind of like the Padlet links. So you click Padlet links and I'll have 14 Padlet links in here. Review questions, same thing. I'll have 14 exam review question links. So you click that. It should open up a Google Doc. And again, you can download this as a Word document if you want. You can just put it into Google Docs if you want. However you want to view it, read it, look at it. These are more review questions. These are going to be very similar to what you're going to see on your exam. They're not the exact same ones, but very similar to what you'd see on the exam. At the bottom, it's going to have, hold on, I gotta get my scroll down button. There we go. At the bottom, it's going to have all of it's going to have the key. Okay, so you can go through and practice when you're studying for your exam. You can go through and read through these questions and answer them. And again, it's taken a while to load it up. I don't know why. There we go. So there at the bottom, you can see the answers for those questions. So just another way to review, another way to study, another way to prepare for your exam. So since we're talking about exams, let's talk about that now. That's a pretty brief one, and then we'll talk about the drop boxes. So exams, we'll do that next. Okay, so we're in weekly units. I'll put an exams tab over here as well. That there'll be course. It'll say exams. You'll be able to open that, and then it'll have all 14 exams. So it's basically kind of one stop shop for all the exams too. Pardon me. Yeah, cough right into the mic. Sorry about that. Hope you don't have your headphones on too loud. So the last thing you're going to do each week is take the exam. You can take it anytime you want for that matter, but you do have 2 attempts to take the exam, and I do take the higher of the 2 grades. So that's a plus. Especially, if you've never taken an online exam, you may not really know what to expect. Each exam is going to be 40 questions from a randomly generated test bank that I have in Blackboard. If you take it once and you get 20 out of 40, and you go and you take it again, the questions are likely going to be different. You might have some of the same questions. They certainly won't be in the same order. So just know that going into it. You do have 2 attempts to take the exam, but they're going to, more than likely, they'll be quite different from one another. But it does keep the higher score. There's a 60-minute time limit to do it. The exams. It does show here. I'll just open one up. You can see what it looks like. So I click on exam when I'm ready to take. Just click it. Boom. You're ready to take it. So this is what'll pop up. Okay. So again, all I did was clicked on exam. Okay. And then it popped up. I have it set to open in a new window. It's not, I don't put what's called a lockdown browser on my exams. So you're able to, leave your browser and not leave the browser. You can open up other windows and look, try to figure things out that way. But it tells you a little bit about the instructions. 1 hour time limit. You'll be notified when time expires, and you'll have the opportunity to continue. Okay, so if 60 minutes goes by and you still haven't finished the test, don't worry about it. Click yes, I want to continue. Don't click submit. If you're not done, then keep going. Okay, I don't penalize you for going over the time limit. I strictly put that time limit in there so you have a rough idea kind of where you're at with being able to answer these multiple choice questions in a timely manner, because when you go to take your NCLEX, or your if you're a PTA or a surge tech or a dental hygienist or a CN, whatever you are going to be, you're going to have to take a certification exam or a state licensure exam. It could be a national exam, but that exam is going to be timed, multiple choice at a computer. So the goal for this is also to prepare you to be doing timed multiple choice exams to take your licensure and certification stuff way down the road. But the difference is when your time limit runs out, if you're taking your NCLEX exam, time limit runs out, you're done. It shuts you out of the computer. With these, I have it set where if time runs out, it doesn't matter. It just asks you, do you want to keep going or do you want to submit? Well, of course you want to keep going. Okay, so click keep going, and it'll allow you. Hell, I've had students take 2 hours, 120 minutes to do a 40 question exam because they had to take their dog for a walk, their kids needed a snack, they had to go to the bathroom. I mean, when you're going to sit down to take these exams, the goal is to get them to be focused and to have your setup right, so you have distractions being free or limited. Anyway, I have distraction free is difficult, but distraction limited not as difficult. So if you can get that 1 hour time limit set up and have your space to do it, just go to town and get it done. You can use your books, you can use your notes, you can watch videos, you can have 2 or 3 other computers sitting out. I mean, I'm not there with you. I'm not going to micromanage how you take an exam. Every student's different. Okay, so how I have it set up to you have at it whenever you're ready. All right, so what's it going to look like? So I click begin, and it's going to show me all 40 multiple choice questions at once. Okay. And it's already started, time's already started ticking, 60 minutes. When there's 5 minutes to go, I'll get a notification. If there's 1 minute to go, 30 seconds, and so on. I'll get some notifications as the timer's getting low. But again, that doesn't mean you have to panic. Okay, don't panic ever, especially in this class. Last thing I need any of you doing is panicking at any point. I'm not even with you to help pull you in off of the ledge. You know, at least at school when we're together, if you start getting closer and closer to being out on the ledge, I can bring you back in. But no, you had no panicking, no stressing out, no being freaked out. About A&P or the format or anything. Or the tests. If you get kicked out of the test halfway through it because your internet goes out or whatever. Just email me and let me know. I'll reset the exam. It's not a big deal. I'm not a ball buster. I'm not a beat you over the head kind of person. I'm here to help you to understand the complexities of the body, because there are so many complexities. I'm not here to make it more difficult. I'm here to make it easier. And if there's logistical stuff that happens, or if you know, personal stuff and you're late on, I'm okay with that. Just let me know. It's not a big deal. In fact, you don't even need to go into any type of excessive detail or explanation as to why you're late on something writing. Just say, hey, I need an extra couple days, whatever. I'm fine with that. I really truly want you guys all to know that that I'm very flexible and I'm very open to any suggestions or anything that you have that you have for me. So I didn't really even introduce myself. I suppose I should do that. It seems like as good a time as any. Well, you know my name already, but my background is I've been an A&P professor since May of 2000. So I've been doing this for over 20 years now. And my students have been pre-medical students, nursing students, massage therapy students, dental hygienists. I mean, you name it. If it's in the healthcare field, I've taught those students. I'm originally from Rockford, Illinois. I live in Wisconsin now. I've been living in Wisconsin for quite a while. I worked for Blackhawk Technical College in Janesville and Beloit for several years. I worked in Rockford for a couple different colleges for several years as well. As far as so anyway, A&P and helping and teaching it, I've been doing it forever. So I'm here to help you understand what's going on. And the online teaching and the Blackboard and Zoom, and I've been doing hybrid and online classes for a long time as well. So I'm very comfortable with this. I do prefer face-to-face, as I'm sure most of you do as well, but I'm just as comfortable doing the online format. Let's see. My background clinically would be in orthopedics. I owned a rehabilitation, injury rehabilitation, not drug, injury rehabilitation center in Rockford for several years in the late 90s and early 2000s. So most of my background clinically is dealing with injuries, repetitive use injuries, car accidents, motor vehicle accident injuries, falls, work-related injuries, sports injuries, from little buggers all the way up to old buggers. So my knowledge of the musculoskeletal system clinically is expansive, but my knowledge of all body systems is expansive as well, because I've been more in the academic and education environment in a faculty realm for, like I say, for over 20 years now. But anyway, I'm married. I have two daughters. They are 7 and 13 years old. My wife and I help out a little bit, but my wife homeschools the girls. She's homeschooled them since day one. So this new transition for us hasn't been that extreme, especially regarding school. We don't have to worry about. I never have had to worry about our girls being in school. So they're always in school, being in homeschool. So other than that, I don't have much else to say. I'm probably all sleeping at this point. So I'll quit boring you with. Plus, my timer's running out of my test. I got to hurry up and take it. So, no. Anyway, so that's it. Once you're done, hit save and submit. And if you did it in under 60 minutes, it'll populate. Even no matter how long it took you, it'll give you your grade right away. As soon as you click save submit, boom, it tells you your grade. All right. So that's that. Any questions on exams or how to do a test? Okay. Now, lastly, and then we'll call it a day here soon. I just want to show you how to do these drop boxes. You have 2 Dropbox assignments to do each week. One related to the lab aspect or the visible body aspect. The other one is your portfolio. So the portfolio, let me pull that up. Again, a PDF, and I put them in PDF and Word document. Unless you have a PDF writing program, which most of you probably don't, you're not going to be able to type into the PDF. So you're going to need to click the DOCX, the document version, and that's what you would go ahead and type into, just like we saw earlier with the anatomical terms one that we downloaded. Okay, so anyhow, PDF or the doc. So here's your portfolio. It goes through, gives you a description of what we're doing this particular week, and just has you go through and keep these clear and concise. The goal is not to give you a bunch of busy work to bog you down and to interfere with your life. The goal of these is to get you to see terms and relate it to something you already know, like anatomy, the definition of anatomy. I don't need complete sentences for these. It may say complete sentences. It may say some others. Just anatomy is the study of structure. Physiology, study of function. Okay, what is an atom? What is a molecule? What is an organelle? What is a cell? Just brief descriptions of these items. Okay, don't reinvent the wheel, and don't feel like more is better. Okay, sometimes less is better. Less is more. Anyway, oral, mouth, cervical, neck. Okay, right down the line. Bing, bing, bing. Okay, and same with these. Just keep it short and sweet. You can even abbreviate these. Okay. RUQ, right upper quadrant. Okay. LUQ, left upper quadrant. Okay. However you want to do it. I'm not picky. Just get it done for your usage. See, there's where you do your labeling for those buggers right there, for some of those that you saw earlier. So that's why I said in the comprehend part for the anatomical terms, just so you want to be able to identify where these are. Once you get to the practice part with doing your portfolios, that's where you're actually going to type in those areas. So anyhow, so you do fill in all your blanks, dot all your I's and your T's, and you're ready to submit those documents. So we'll do the visible body one first. So I click visible body lab. You can see it's got a little kind of a icon. Let me back up. Blackboard, if you've never used it, has little icons. If you've got a little globe with a piece of paper, that means this is going to be a link to a website. So all these are web links. If it's just if it's a little thing like this with the pretty colors, that's called a mashup. So that's just indicative that that's a mashup. And then if it has just a piece of paper, that just means we've got a list to look at. Okay. And then lastly, exam. It's got a little pencil with a little, looks like you're taking an exam. And then lastly, the Dropbox has like a little ruler with a pencil. So this is a Dropbox. Again, you're going to have 2 Dropboxes each week. The first one for week 1 is the Visible Body Lab Dropbox. It tells you the due date, Monday, September 7th, 11:59 p.m. If you hand it in the 14th or the 21st, if you hand it in late, that's fine too. Just make sure you get it in. Don't get behind too far though in this class, because it moves quickly and there's always stuff to do. Okay, so anyway, it tells you the points possible. Okay. Do not click write submission. I don't want your submissions written. There's way too much. You have 12 pages to 10 pages of stuff that you're doing in these in your anatomical. We're doing lab 1 first. So yeah, just type your name, save it. Okay. And again, just dot and then your last name. It's auto-fills except for your last name. So now I have lab 1, anatomical terms, Yoakum. So now I want to put that in the Dropbox. So I can click browse my computer. Okay, click browse my computer, and I want to put that into the Dropbox. Lab anatomical terms, so I can find it. So I can just click open and it sticks it right in there. The other thing I can do is if I have that pulled up, my window, I can drag and drop as well. So here it is up here. So I've got my folder open. I can just drag it and drop it. Okay, so in other words, I highlight it, I hold down my left mouse button and keep holding my left mouse button and just bring it over till it's purple, and then I let go of the mouse button and it dropped it in that way. So that's the other way you can do it. So you can browse computer, drop it in. You can browse computer and then drag it and drop it that way. You can browse computer, click open. Either way, it's going to put it in there. Notice it just keeps putting it in there, even though it's the same one. But anyway, that's it. That's all you have to do, except don't forget to click submit. Okay, so once you've dragged and dropped or browsed my computer and populated it in there and you can see it right here, then you click submit. And then you'll get an email receipt saying that you submitted your document. It'll have a timestamp. Okay, so that's how you'll know that you submitted it. Okay, so that is how you do the Dropbox. Same thing with the portfolio. When you're ready, click it, scroll down, browse my computer, find your portfolio, drag it, drop it, click submit, and done. Okay, again, tells you due dates, points possible as well. Okay. A couple other items. That should be good enough to get that. Plenty, right, to get you started. The other thing, week 1 slides. So you're going to want to view those to help you out potentially. I mean, you don't have to. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. There you go. I just recommend it though. All right, so Google Slides. Again, you can get it as PowerPoint. or you can get it as Google Slides. One thing I want to mention, when you're looking at my PowerPoints or my slides, if you get them, when you get them in Google Slides, or if you download it as, because you can download this if you want. If you have PowerPoint on your computer, you can download it and have it as a PowerPoint too, if you really desire that. Okay. You can even download it. You could save it as a PDF. You can view slides as PDF files. So, but anyway, what I would recommend though is viewing it in either Google Slides or PowerPoint, because you'll notice at the bottom, I put my notes at the bottom. It says add speaker notes. So a lot of throughout the semester, you'll notice speaker notes. These are my notes for creating exams and going into more detail with some of the topics. So you may want to look at some of those speaker notes. Okay, so don't just look at the slides, look at some of the notes I've put in there too. Those will help you throughout. Okay. All right, so do you guys have questions at the moment? Everybody hanging in there? Believe it or not, we've been sitting together for 2 hours. I probably find that hard to believe, but time does go fast, and it's like that pretty much every week. So
I have one question.
yeah, go for it.
So for when I go into the weekly unit and then it has like the directions for the section that has the engage, comprehend, practice, apply.
Yeah.
Is that just like the layout of what we do like in this first week?
Yep.
And it's just everything's due by the end of the week?
By the
or when?
7th, I've got them set up to go Tuesday through Monday. So like
Okay.
today would be day 1, and then next Monday would be day 7. So everything's due by midnight. And I'm not a huge stickler for due dates. In other words, if you're going to be late on something, if any of you are going to be late on something, I'm not going to penalize you if you're trying to keep it within like a week or so. Only because we go week to week to week, and if you're getting to be late on stuff, that just affects the current stuff, and it's hard to keep going back. And not for me. I mean, I've graded stuff in week 16 that was from week 1. I don't like it. I don't recommend doing that if you're, but I also know things happen. And sometimes, if you missed something in week 3 and it's now week 10 and that's the only thing you missed, then, you have time to go back and do it. And I'm okay with that. So I guess my point is, I'm not a stickler for due dates, but I put them in to really keep everybody on task, and because a new thing starts up every Tuesday. So yeah, try to get everything done between Tuesday and Monday at 11:59 p.m. Because then next Tuesday we'll start in on week 2, and I mean, we do build and we connect all of this stuff together, but some assignments are maybe a little bulkier than others. So some students, especially when we get to like bones and muscles, then later on we'll get into the nervous system, like the bones. Some of that, like it may take like a couple of weeks,
Yeah.
to really feel like you're getting enough out of it, because I don't want you to race through to get the stuff done just to get it done on time, when I'd rather have you turn something in late, but only because you took your time doing it and it made more sense to you. So that's really why I don't get too hung up on due dates, is because I'd rather have you hand something in late that you really took time to do than to hand something in on time that you just zipped through to get it done and you didn't retain anything. Does that
Okay.
make, so.
It does. It
Okay.
does make sense. Then one more question. So that layout that you have for the week do you recommend going in the order that you have everything listed?
I do generally, yes. Now, there's some like I would start at the Padlet. I would basically and you could watch a few videos. It just kind of gets your brain into the mode of what's going on. Make a little comment, and some students will comment under any video they watch. Some students watch every single thing on the Padlet and they comment on every single one, and that's fine. Certainly, I would recommend that, but that's not what's required. Some students watch one or two and comment on just, but that really kind of gets you into the mode. And then, this anatomy terminology video it's from, I think I got that through Visible Body, or I got that from a publisher. No, it wasn't Visible. Anyway, but it's pretty good. It's pretty straightforward. It kind of reinforces some of the stuff you did with the Padlet. And then these ebooks, the planes and positions, are I guess even more, validation, but it's in like a read write format. Plus, what I like about these engaging you with these Visible Body ebooks, they also get you to seeing kind of what we're going to see with Visible Body. Some of the models look like this, and so it's going to give you some very good terminology as it relates to Visible Body and some of the awesome graphics that we're going to see with that. So yeah, basically I would just go right down the line and just kind of click through and open up, and certainly you can go back as well. You can download any of this stuff too. These Visible Bodies, this is like a med term, kind of a prefix and suffix. Again, it's like it's to engage you and get you really kind of thinking in for week one like an anatomy brain. Week two, they'll be the same things, but the Padlets will be, pardon me, it'll be chemistry stuff and get you kind of in the chemistry mode, and not too much chemistry. I don't want any of you to drop after next week because we did chemistry, because chemistry can be a little tricky. So don't get frustrated with any of this stuff that we do. It's all new to most of you. So that kind of gets the ball rolling. And then at that point, comprehending kind of what you just engaged, gets in a little more detail with you start now going into the textbook and looking at the key terms, and then certainly attending our class session today and on Thursday, and it will enable you to comprehend, and that's where the slideshow that I just did as part of, I didn't do the slideshow, but just pulled up a few minutes ago. And then at this point, those Visible Body activities, or that activity, that worksheet, the Lab 1 anatomical terms, at that point now you should be able to go down and answer quite a few of those just based on what you did with the engage and comprehend section. And then at that point, you've got a pretty good grasp on what's going on. So now you're just going to kind of you're going to practice it, go back and review, look at some of the terms again, look at some of the Quizlets, and then really kind of tidy everything up from the whole week by going through the portfolio. Basically, the portfolios are a weekly kind of like a journal of logging all of these items that you went through for the week. And then after that's all done, you should be at that point ready to then sit and take an exam and see see the questions and relate back to all of this engage, comprehending, and practicing that you did. And even still, with your exams, you can use your notes, you can use your books, you can use everything that you did up here, and any additional stuff certainly you can use to answer those questions.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much for explaining that.
For sure. And it'll be that way every week. Just, yep, I would go in those orders, just click right down the line for the most part. And again, the stuff underneath it is the same thing. It's just in a little bulkier, bigger fashion. But yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Anybody else have questions on what's going on? Again, I know the first day is always there's a lot of kind of administrative-y stuff that we have to get through, and kind of set the foundation for textbook acquisition and lab acquisition, and then kind of what the course expectations are. Again, my main expectation from all of you is communication, and I don't mean in the Zoom room on Tuesdays or Thursdays. I mean communicating with me when you need something, when you don't understand something, or if it's nothing related to this, if it's something related to the bookstore, or to needing some sort of student service, whatever it might be. Just communicate that with me. Even if you have another class that you're struggling with, or there's something that's not making sense, again, you just reach out. I don't want any of my students to ever feel like they're frustrated. They're not being they're not getting what they need. Not just from me, but from your whole experience, with Gateway and in life in general. If any of you work in a clinic and you have some sort of a clinical type of question, or if something happens and you maybe want to put it to, you just want a different perspective or something, just let me know. I mean, I really, A&P is tough, but it doesn't have to be. All of you live inside yourselves and around others every day. You all consume foods and beverages, and you all sleep, and you all have hygiene, and you all you all have stress, right? So my goal is definitely not to add to any of your stressors. In fact, it's quite the opposite. I want to enable you to have better coping mechanisms for stressors. When you recognize triggers and what gets your nervous system and your blood pressure and your heart rate, what affects your physical body, what affects your physiology that is maybe somebody else's stuff, not even your own. So my goal too is to enable you to recognize, as you're studying the human body, how does it affect and relate to you? How does everything we do in here apply to your day-to-day life? And ultimately, how does it apply to your livelihood? All of you are going to work in the medical field. There are plenty of triggers, there are plenty of stressors, and most of them are not yours. In fact, almost none of them are yours. So it's so important for you as a medical professional to have good boundaries, to to be able to discern situations as for what they are, with an objective eye, with the ability to problem solve and critically think without being overly stressed out. And so that takes time. It does take some effort, but I'm here to help you to understand that things are never as bad as they seem, and it's up to you to really just understand what your triggers are, what coping mechanisms you have for those triggers, and whether they're healthy or not. And that's really what's going to make you a successful nurse, a successful physical therapy assistant, a successful dental hygienist, a successful surge tech, but ultimately it makes you a successful human, because we need you as humans to be healthy, to be balanced, and to be positive, and not have stress, or to be able to minimize stress, and in fact help others cope with their stressors too. And so anyhow, if you're ever wondering why in the heck you're doing what you're doing, just email me and I'll tell you why you're doing what you're doing. Okay? But I think you all know what you're doing, why you're doing what you do. You're very important to our community and to our society. Okay? So thank you. And thank you to all of you too. And again, just let me know if you ever need help. Thursday, I will, I want to go through a little bit with our slideshow. I want to go through a couple of key features in here. Between now and Thursday, I want you to go through and work on those engage items. Hey, work on your Padlet between now and Thursday. Watch some of these watch the terminology video. Look through the planes and positions. Start looking at your textbook a little bit. Because on Thursday, I want to go through the slides. I want to discuss a little bit, tour the visible body briefly, start to kind of get acclimated with that. I know, again, some of you are still waiting on that. So, we're not going to dive in too hard and heavy with visible body yet, but I do want to show you and want you to get acclimated. The activity or that assignment for comprehend, you can do that with or without visible body. Okay. So again, working on that stuff, just checking things off. And then, like I say, Thursday, we'll go through, we'll finish things up. And at that point, hopefully you'll have things pretty well tidied up. So anyhow, between now and Thursday, peruse Blackboard, go through it, look at, there's not a lot to poke around with yet. There's, and I like to kind of keep it that way, keep it pretty straightforward as far as Blackboard goes. You've got a My Grades section, instructor info, textbook info. We didn't really look at that. The library course page. Okay. You can click on that if you need some extra resources. But anyway, I'm going to conclude and let all of you get on with your day. And again, if you have questions or concerns, just email me and let me know. I do have, I'll be in here again tonight at 6 o'clock, going through basically the same thing. But then I have office hours tomorrow morning at 10. And again at 5, and then of course I'll hopefully see all of you on Thursday at 11:40. And I'll open it up a little early, like 11:30. So if you do show up a little early, you should be able to get in. Okay. Other than that, that's it. And I appreciate y'all coming in today, and hopefully you have a little bit better understanding of Blackboard and kind of what, how to do all that stuff. I know you'll have more questions as we go. So that's it.
The first 30 pages. I still got 40 more pages to go.
And again, yeah, if you haven't, I'll check it out in the chat. If you haven't put your name in the chat, please do that too.
Can we leave?
We're doing like the same thing. This is my first day.
Can we leave?
Yeah, and you can. Yeah, you're welcome to. I'm going to stop recording the meeting at this point. I will post